Are you preparing for a DevOps or Kubernetes interview? In this video, we cover the most important Kubernetes commands along with real-world interview questions and expert answers to help you ace your next technical interview. 1. How do you check the status of your Kubernetes cluster? kubectl cluster info. Answer. This command displays the addresses of the Kubernetes control plane and services. It helps confirm that your kubectl client is properly configured and can communicate with the cluster. Kubernetes control plane is running at https://123.45.67.89. Core DNS is running at https://123.45.67.89/API/v1/namespaces/kuba-DNS:/DNS/proxy. Follow-up. How do you authenticate kubectl with a remote cluster? You use a kubeconfig file /.kuba/config, which contains API server URL, certificate, and token or credentials. 2. How can you list all the pods running in all namespaces? Command. kubectl get pods all namespaces. Answer. This lists every pod running across all namespaces. Useful for debugging system or third-party tool pods, e.g. in kubesystem. Variation. kubectl get pods, a #shorter version. Follow-up. How to filter pods by label. kubectl get pods lapp equals nginx. 3. How do you inspect the details of a pod for debugging? Command. kubectl describe pod name. Answer. This provides in-depth info including events, container status, node assignment, and environment variables. Essential for investigating crash loops and scheduling failures. Follow-up. What if the pod is in crash loop backoff? Check the events and last state section. Use kubectl logs pod name to inspect application logs. 4. How do you view logs of a container running inside a pod? Command. kubectl logs pod name. For a specific container in a multi-container pod. kubectl logs pod name, see container name. Answer. It prints logs from the container's stout and sdare, helping debug runtime errors or crashes. Follow-up. How to stream logs continuously. kubectl logs f pod name. 5. How do you exec into a running container? Command. kubectl exec it pod name /bin/bash. Answer. This opens an interactive shell inside the container. Useful for debugging environment variables, connectivity, or running CLI tools. Follow-up. What if the container uses sh instead of bash? kubectl exec it pod name /bin/sh. 6. How do you create a deployment using kubectl? Command. kubectl create deployment myapp image equals nginx. Answer. This creates a deployment named myapp with a single replica of the nginx image. Kubernetes handles pod creation behind the scenes. Follow-up. How to increase replicas to 3. kubectl scale deployment myapp replicas equals 3. How to expose the deployment. kubectl expose deployment myapp type equals node port equals 80. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. Drop your questions in the comments, we'll answer them all.